So I wanted to share a story. The other night, I believe it was Saturday night, I decided to go for a run, and my middle son came with me. And while I was running, I had this immense joy and this immense feeling that this is it. This is the life. This is freedom. This is what you create. When you stop abandoning yourself, when you stop abandoning your needs, your wants, your desires, and you integrate your children into this life. And the reason why we were running is because I decided to train for a marathon this year that's happening in the fall. And I'm running and I'm so present in that moment with my son. And he's like, yeah, mom, I'll go with you. And he usually doesn't run with me. And I could feel this deep, deep connection in the moment. On our way back, I'm approaching the door and my husband opens the door and he looks at me and he, in a very calm manner, says, we need to go. He asks Calvin, the middle one, the one that was running with me, to enter the house. And he said, hey, Calvin, go get your other brother and get ready for bed. And he says it in a very calm way. And he looks at me and he says, we have to go. Logan was in a head-on collision. And he said, everything is okay because he called and he's okay. We have to go. And in that moment, my instincts were I watched myself, my nervous system go into fight or flight. And what it did do was I was angry. Using anger to protect that deep, deep pain that is on the other side, that fear of the unknown, that fear of uncertainty, that fear of my deepest fear, a mother's worst nightmare coming true. And what I realized, it was very interesting to watch how I went to anger. I didn't panic. I went into protective mode. I went into crisis intervention mode. And, my former social work days of crisis intervention and being around extremely vulnerable people, but also harmful people, and how you chronically protect yourself from getting hurt mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. But I could just feel that armor going up. And all of my feelings, all of my emotions, just shove them down. They don't matter right now. They don't matter. I just shove it down, lock it away. I approach Logan, we get there, and he was not, in fact, in a head-on collision. He was so stunned, he thought he was. His car was totaled. It was more of like a T-bone, and he swerved a little bit. So there wasn't 100% impact with the other car, but his car was totaled. And when you look at the car, the whole front end is gone. And, I just imagine what could have happened if he was in a head-on collision, or what would have happened if he didn't swerve, or, what if his legs got stuck, or, he wasn't wearing his seatbelt, or he was under the influence or something like that. And I just look at him and he is devastated, shame. What did I do wrong? 5 minutes ago, everything was fine. And all of a sudden I didn't see this guy. He just pulled out in front of me. And the blame, right? Oh, you're a young kid. This must be your fault. And he's like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And looking at his prized possession, his, in his 17-year-old brain, his prized possession of the first car he purchased himself, just gone in minutes, just gone. And he said, Mom, I'm sorry. And I looked at him and I said, honey, I don't care if that vehicle was a Rolls Royce. Everything can be replaced, but you can't. And I just looked at him and I was like, again in a different state of gratitude. So there I am, literally an hour before, feeling expansive and joyful and elated, where I'm meeting my needs and I'm doing my thing and I'm bringing my child along. And in an instant, it shifts and change. And I'm feeling the fragility, the vulnerability of motherhood, the vulnerability of parenthood, and this lack of control that you actually have when you are raising another human. And so often, what I hear people say is, how do I get my child to do anything? How do I get them to actually listen to me? How do I get them to do X, Y, Z? And the truth is, you cannot. You cannot get a child, an adult, a partner, another human being to actually listen to you. You can't. What you do, or what you can, or what you do have control over is your reaction to it, but also how you lead your life, how you physically lead your children from the moment of the second they come into your life, regardless of how they came into your life, whether it was through your physical body, whether it was through somebody else's physical body, whether it was through whatever. Your children are here to have their own human experience, their own spiritual lessons that they have to learn. And the reason why I run, the reason why I take care of myself, the reason why I actually consider my needs, my physical needs, my emotional needs, my soul needs, my desires, the impact I want to make, the money I want to make, the reason why I fucking care about how I feel on every level of my life is for this exact moment. Because I remember putting him in the car and we drove away and he was in shock and he was okay. He was physically okay. And he went to the hospital just to get confirmation that there was no internal bleeding or anything like that. But he looked physically okay. But I knew emotionally there was going to be shit that he had to deal with. And I posted a picture of his car on the internet, on my Instagram, and I got so many messages from parents saying, oh my gosh, you must be rattled. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm so glad he's okay. And I had clients reach out to me and say, just, giving condolences and, grateful and all of that. And a lot of people said, how are you coping? How are you doing? And the next day I got up with gratitude. I actually had more energy. And I've been reflecting on this because I'm like, am I in denial? But I truly believe it's because of what I teach and how I live my life that this shit did not tear me down. I haven't even given 1 ounce of the financial income that it's going to cost to replace this vehicle or the insurance increase. Like, I haven't given one fucking brain cell or time or energy besides the fact of me actually recording this right now, thinking about the money. Because I am not living in a financial crisis state. I have life-proofed my finances. Because that is freedom. When life happens and you got it, you don't lose sleep over it. And then there's this emotional aspect of it. When you are a person that has shit to do, you got a job, you have a business, you have other children to take care of, you have a fucking life. Stuff like this happens. And I am so grateful that he was safe. But I'm telling you right now, it didn't take me down. This was a blip. This was a speed bump. And I can hold both. That mental stress of uncertainty, that mental stress of the future, the unknown, and the present moment. And I heard so many people inside of, in the last decade, talking to women, when something happens in their life, like, oh, it's got to be perfect. Everything needs to be, the ducks need to be in the row. Everything needs to be in alignment. And then I will. I'm like, good fucking luck. Because the second you think your ducks are in a row and you're trying to use perfection as your life strategy, the universe will say, she ain't ready. She hasn't figured it out yet. She hasn't gotten the memo that perfection does not exist. And she thinks she needs to wait to feel good. She thinks she needs to wait to figure this shit out. She's hiding behind all of these reasons of why she can't do what she wants to do, or feel the way that she wants to feel, or scale her business the way she wants to scale her business, or take care of herself. And at the core of all of this is what really, really gets me. At the core of all of this, years ago, and this is just a moment. This is not the moment. I've had many fucking moments, but this is a moment that can take you down. A long time ago, I looked at my children and I said, I never, ever want you to go to sleep at night thinking you are unworthy of living the life you want to live. And I realize that you live in a culture that is here to beat you down, to beat the passion out of you, to make you believe that you need to be somebody else. But I, as your mother, will never do that to you. And if I do, you get to call me out on it. And in that moment, I had to choose myself. And I chose myself by saying, I am worthy of putting myself on my own damn calendar. I am worthy of feeling good. I am worthy of wanting what I want. I am worthy of going after my dreams, even though I'm fucking terrified. And every day, moment by moment, in 10-minute increments, I did that. I chose myself. But I wasn't actually choosing myself. I was choosing my children. Because I knew that if I became that person, that role model, that additional human in their life that showed them what was possible, and I represented hope and possibility, then in their darkest moments, they will choose. Maybe, maybe not. So I go back to the beginning of this story when I'm sitting there with my middle son, or running with my middle son, and creating that connection. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And simultaneously having absolutely no control over one of my other children. Actually, I don't have control over any of them. And realizing that this duality is what freedom is. To know that I can be present in the moment with all my feelings. I can process them. I can cope. And it doesn't happen just in an instant. It's a lifestyle. It's like an evolution. It's a daily habit. I can function. I can be deeply scared of the unknown and feel free. I can put myself on the calendar and be uncertain. And I can sit there with my child in their big emotions and hold space without reacting and projecting my shit onto them. That is freedom. That takes effort. That takes work. And most people won't do it. Most people won't do it because it's not a quick fix. Most people won't do it because it's not emotionally comfortable. Most people won't do it for reasons I am uncertain of. Most people will make more money, but will not do the inner work to lead their children the way that they wish they were led as a child. It is easier to make more money. It is easier to work more hours than to actually look at what we're avoiding. It's actually easy to judge people than to look within and ask ourselves why we are judging ourselves. So, this is my wish for you. My wish is that you look in the mirror today and you ask yourself, am I satisfied with how I'm leading? Am I satisfied with how I am showing up as a leader in my home? Am I satisfied? Am I okay? If I was on my deathbed, would I be content with the role model that I have shown up for my children to be? If my children end up in a partnership with somebody who is very similar to me, would I be proud? And if the answer of any of that is no, or if your child was in your shoes, what advice would you give them? And that's the advice that you need to give to yourself. But how? How? Where do you start? What do you do? So this is why I've created a free training for you. I'm going to show you the myths we tell ourselves as women, what blocks us, gets in the way, and the skills that I needed to master, again, on a moment-to-moment basis, not all or nothing. I've had a decade of practice in my own life and coaching and teaching, and I've simplified it for you, and I'm going to give it all to you. So all you have to do is go to heatherchauvin.com/why not you, WHY, not YOU, why not you? Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/why not you. This free training takes place on May 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go to heatherchauvin.com/why not you. It is a free training. It's 100% free. I'm pulling back the curtains for you. And if you cannot attend live, still register. We will send you the replay. And what the hell else was I going to say? This answers the question for those of you asking of like, how do I create balance? We have balance. We can cultivate it. I personally feel like balance is bullshit. But what I mean is, how do you quote unquote balance or hold both emotions? The emotion of alignment, which is running with your child, being like, woohoo, this is fun. And then holding the emotion of fear of uncertainty, knowing that you have no control. This to me is my definition of balance. This is alignment. And it's a physical representation of how do we work and take care of our families and ourselves. So I'm going to show you step by step how that's possible. So heatherchauvin.com/why not you. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I want you to also, well, one, register for that free training, and two, let me know your takeaway from today's episode. So go find me on Instagram at heatherchauvin, CHAUVIN.com, and send me a DM. You are not alone, and change is 100% possible. There it is. You just listened to the Emotionally Uncomfortable podcast. If you want to take this conversation to the next level, head on over to our private Facebook group community, heatherchauvin.com/Facebook. My last name is spelled CHAUVIN. That's heatherchauvin.com/Facebook. I truly believe the better we feel, the more alive we become. This is how we are going to change the world. And if you've been watching me for a while, if you've been on the fence and you're curious, how can Heather help me? Head on over to heatherchauvin.com/work with me to check out my mastery and mastery business coaching programs. That's heatherchauvin.com/work with me.